what on the other end, what has been the toughest aspect of this whole experience?
Loot boxes. Oh man,
Blue
and I know
boxes?
loot boxes, L-O-L-O-T boxes, loot
Loot
boxes.
boxes. Okay.
Um, Here's the reason why I'm not in love with it, and I think it's one of the things that I always complain about the most for
Yeah.
games, and that might not even been your question. That might have just one popped into my mind. Um,
Me with
no,
it.
here's the reason why I find them slightly troublesome.
Yep.
And the reason I do is not for anything that I experience, is because I know as an adult, I know I know how to say no. I know
Mm,
how to
mhm,
say I'm not spending that, right?
right,
So when I hear these horror stories about kids spending X amount of dollars on digital items that they don't really get to keep, and they aren't reading the end user license agreement,
right,
realizing that when this game is gone, it's gone. You know what I mean?
right,
I think, once again, I go in my closet right now and I can boot up my NES and play the very first game my mother and father got me.
right,
Nothing stops me from doing that.
right.
But when the
I was
servers
about
get
to say, yeah,
turned off,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
gone,
yeah,
and you have no legal recourse on getting it back. I hope the next young smart kid in computer science learns how to
yeah,
build that for their friends in some way where they can connect.
yeah.
But loot boxes really encourage bad spending habits, and I always try and forewarn people about that. And they've taken advantage of kids' curiosity in gaming, and
Mm,
they've tried to find a way to really monetize on that. And
right.
I think that's pretty trash.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean,
Uh,
you hit it. I was gonna say, is that the Fortnite situation, and that I remember it just went black, right? Like, the screen just went black and it just shut down, and it hasn't come back to my knowledge, right? Like, they haven't
And
been able
here's
to
the
play
thing,
it.
they've played
Yeah.
that joke before.
Yeah.
Fortnite played this joke, I believe it was between season 1 and, number 2. They were like, "Fortnite's gone, thank you so
Right.
much." And, it was a joke to be like, season 2 is coming, but I
Mhm.
just keep trying to tell people there's a real reality of that coming soon where, if Epic decides that they don't wanna do that anymore, or if there's something new that they wanna do,
Right.
your experience is really controlled. And I guess that really kind of just digs into my, artistic no censorship type of thing. It's like,
Right.
no, this thing existed in a certain way beforehand, and people should be able to experience that experience as a part of
Yeah.
their life. I don't think you should just be able to take it away like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. And then once again, I think, um, the concept around, hey, you're getting stuff that you don't know what you're going to get,
Mm. Mhm.
but you're being encouraged every single time you turn on the system to participate in
Right.
that system. I think is, like I said, I think it's dangerous in that
Yeah.
way.
That's a really interesting aspect of it. Yeah, that I hadn't really thought about as much. I don't do as many online games except for maybe like The Sims.
Yeah,
But yeah, things like Fortnite and games like that. That is unfortunate that they're doing that. Shifting gears just a little bit. I know you know Keisha Howard of
yes.
Sugar Gamers, but I wanted to talk a little bit about your thoughts on women in gaming, and specifically Black women in gaming, and sort of what like you think the opportunities are, because I think a lot of times people see gamers that are girls and they have to be like cute and sexy and all these different things, and it has to be this whole feminine thing when girls just want to play games just like guys. So what are your thoughts on how the gaming industry can be better about encouraging women to play, encouraging young girls to play, like all those different things?
Well, you got to get input from women more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think we've seen leaps and bounds in our lifetime, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
think at the same token, there's still a lot of space to be gained in there.
Yeah.
We had men creating games forever and a day.
Hmm.
And even the women who have, really as pioneers participated in it, they were few and far in between.
Right.
And so I always tell people, you're not going to get Black people, you're not going to get women, you're not going to get LGBTQ and
Right.
Q plus,
Yeah.
people to participate in these things
Yeah.
if they're not a part of the creation process.
Mm,
People can tell a difference between an authentic, attempt to, bridge gaps versus a cash grab.
yes.
And a lot of times that is very difficult to accomplish if you do not add diversity as a means of like, hey, we're going to create this project, and
Right.
diversity is the means through which we're going to reach that. And
Right.
so again, I think that video games is one way that the systematic problem plays out, right?
Mm,
Because
mhm.
women generally have been, basically disencouraged from participating in technology.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Those jobs don't seem attractive, and we
Right.
don't do a lot to make those jobs attractive. Now, sometimes the jobs just are unattractive, but
Right.
we have to get better at trying to figure out what people's mind who's attracted to these types of things, because once
Mhm.
again, no one dreams of being a coder, right?
Right, right.
People who really want to be coders, are either encouraged and given the resources and
Mm,
then they're able to practice that, or they simply look for something else that makes money at the time,
right,
right?
right.
Unfortunately, I think, just culturally and the way society is built, we have like a ticking time, on how soon can you get to your career path. And we
Right.
force kids, both boys and girls alike, we force kids and non-gender identifying kids
Yeah.
into like figure out your career as soon as possible. And
Right,
it's like,
right.
well, guess what, not only does the world not work that way, because there's people with full-on careers that want to do something different when they're 40,
Mhm.
but you
Mhm.
may not figure that out by the time you're 19.
Right.
And so, I think we need to diversify the experiences.
Yep.
We need to be inclusive in diversifying those experiences.
Mm.
When we decide to teach kids code, we should try and make it fun. I think like you have the really right idea by gamifying it. I
Yes.
think we need to normalize images
Yep.
of men and women working together,
Yep.
and talking about these things. And I think very specifically, one of the things I always feel about Black people is that between Black men and women, we really ought to be on a team more. We really should be a team more.
Mm,
And
mhm.
I just, I'm gonna dive into something that don't even have nothing to do with games, but
Yeah.
I feel like we've allowed the vanity of social media to come between us as Black men
Mm,
and women. We've
mm,
allowed
mhm.
the vanity of trying to pretend like we can do all of these things on our own. Both
Right,
men and women equally do it.
right,
And then we take petty squabbles that
right.
didn't even happen between, imagine, and once again, we come from a little bit of a different time where we've
Just a
watched
little bit.
people argue about things on
Yes.
Facebook and
Yes.
on Twitter. And
Yep.
it's like, but you don't even know this person that you're arguing with. And guess what? The topic that y'all are arguing about, you really even haven't experienced that way. How many
Right.
times have you watched Black men go on
Yeah.
social media and complain or clown Black women for things that didn't even happen to them, or talk about baby mama drama? And it's like, but you don't have any children, sir.
Right,
You
right.
have no stake in this game. But the vanity of social media has somehow captured their attention and their desire to say things that down Black women, when it was
Right,
just like, but that wasn't necessary, broski.
right.
You didn't need to say that. Now,
Yep.
if you feel that way, I what I'm feeling more so as an adult, as a 35-year-old man, is
Yeah.
get off social media and have a real conversation with a person where your ego, your social media ego, is not at stake, and
Mhm.
instead you're listening to this person to hear what they have to say and not have a quick rebuttal.
Right.
Because guess what? How many times do you see people snapshot they quick rebuttal to something and they're
Mhm.
not even right about the scenario?
Right.
They just want other people to laugh at it. They
Yep.
want other people to laugh at it like they won an argument.
Right.
And I really would like, once again, for us, not just as a means of social interaction, but
Yeah.
also career wise and professional wise,
Yeah.
for black men and women to be on its team more, to be
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, man, to some degree, we are all we have. When
Yeah.
all of this
Yep.
vanishes and fades, if you don't drink another bottle of rosé, and you don't have another nice dress for the rest of y'all life, and you don't get the McMansion, at the
Right.
end of it, you and I have one another.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like if we could be on a team for each other, we could really set an example on how men cannot be intimidated by women who do things, really well, right? Women who excel. I feel like we could set a new example for that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all of this to be like I'm perfect and I've always done
Mhm.
everything right.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I feel like if you're cultured in today's society, you will do and say some misogynist and not even know it. And
Mhm.
it's a learned experience that you have to actively and intentionally unlearn.
Unlearn. Yep.
But guess what? black women be down for black men, and guess what? Like, and vice versa.
You ain't
There
never
be black,
lied.
there be black men in the shadows that be down for black women. But you know what? Those things get drowned out by once again social media vanity, and I just would like for us to get past all of that. And I think
Yeah.
that we could become really great partners, not both in just life, but professionally and tech and everything. And
Yeah.
so, I don't think our ideas shouldn't hurt each other,
Yes.
at the core of what I'm saying. And I think that helps improve, our ability to make and do cool things in games. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
No, it's all good because I love what you were saying about the equity piece, right? It's not just about having people in the room. Are they at the table? Are they making decisions, right? So having Black women making decisions, making games so that they're more involved in that process. And then, yeah, coming together as, Black and men and women to really, instead of trying to tear each other down, build each other up. And
Yep.
really, as a collective, we're so much better and so much more
And this ain't just my
full of
opinion.
solutions.
When
Yeah.
the black women get to make films, we all enjoy them. So they don't be films that's just singularly for black women. When black women get to make films and they
Listen.
get to work in that industry, it's something that everybody goes to the movies. Everybody sits down and watch Lovecraft Country. Everybody sits down and watches Issa Rae and laughs and has
Whew.
fun with it. So even though they might be stories that focus or center black women,
Yep.
but they not, made focally for only black women to watch.
Yeah.
So we have proof that the results can be something we can all share and benefit from. And so,
Yes.
I try and make sure that even though it's really easy for me to show up in front of a group of boys because it
Yep.
happens all the time,
Right. Right.
I try to consistently keep in my mind that there could be a girl out there, and I got a
Yeah.
class of girls,
Yeah.
and I have fun with them, and it's been a ball. But I definitely had to adjust the way
Mm.
that I thought about games, and a lot of times they were social experiences that we were having that weren't centered around winning, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh well, they're not even concerned about who wins, which was like a like,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to stop
Yeah.
and think about it. But guess what? That doesn't mean that every girl feels that way about them, right? And so, once again, man, you be around these kids long enough, they're gonna teach you something about
We can
yourself too.
learn
Yep.
so much from the youth. I say it all the time. We have our summer program that we do every year. And I learn so much from those young women. They're 14 to 16 and they change my perspective every time. And I totally agree. Yeah. Like we can learn so much from the kids. But we try, we I sort of have started to think about how we really take out, when we push students through this system, we sort of take away that creativity and that knowledge that they have, and we don't treat them like they actually know things, but they do, right? And we're teaching them those things, but we're also like they're
Exactly.
learning those things on their own. So I wish we would give kids more credit because we can learn from them, and I think we should always be open to learning from them. So I love that you are noticing that in your own teaching and things like that as well. Um, Anything that you want to promote? Any events coming up? Anything people should know about I Play Games?
So we just finished our first Rocket League tournament of the year
Nice,
yesterday,
nice.
and it was a ball. If you guys get a chance to, let's see if I got it queued up. You
I
guys will
did
be
see
able
that
to
you had an
check
event
out.
yesterday. Yeah.
No, it's all good. You guys can check us out at IPG_esports right here on
Woo.
YouTube.
Yep.
We keep an archive of all of the different games and stuff that we have.
Got it.
So we also have been helping the Chicago Park District
Yep.
host their esports tournaments. You can see the young brothers down there. And
Hey.
we had a hybrid tournament for our top 4 kids. We did something that happened online
Yeah.
for the majority of the time. And then we actually came together to do the ending part. But we host a weekly Smash Brothers tournament. I host
I
Wizard
need to join
War
in
tournament.
that.
Oh, I could definitely throw you an invite for that. That ain't
Yes.
yeah, nothing. But no, yeah. So weekly we are always hosting some type of game event and
Nice.
tournament. At the same time, we're working with a lot of different groups. I'll be, probably working with my fourth or fifth group
Mm.
of teens
Yep.
on learning about esports and esports culture. And
Yep.
so, if people are interested, I always try to say hop onto our website ipgnation.com,
Yep.
the contact us portion at the bottom. I'll see the emails as they flow through.
Yep.
But no, we do a lot of things that keep kids interested in
Yep.
tech through video games. And
Yep.
guess what? I didn't create a company called, We Talk About Games. I actively am playing games with
I
kids.
play games, right?
And so playing games is a part of the experience.
Yeah.
Playing games is the way that we connect and talk about things. I
Yeah.
bring on various guests who are working in the industry. And
Yes.
if I would say anything, most of our workshops geared towards that are really about that. It's about we're going to have fun and we're going to play games,
Yep.
but you're also going to hear from people who are, in the industry,
Yep.
and here's how they created a career doing what they do.
Yeah.
And I have two big eyes. I got two big eyes when I go and do these workshops.
Yep.
It is number one, to inform,
Yep.
and then to influence. I
Mm.
want them
Mhm.
to be informed about a thing, and then I want them to have positive influences that move them towards that. I don't expect you to become a coder after this class.
Right.
I don't expect you to become, somebody who's done on air emceeing and hosting. I don't
Yep.
expect you to do that. But I do think that I can give you the inspiration to really kind of look at it in a way where you go, oh, cool, I can go look this up on YouTube now. And I
Mhm.
know a personal reference, right?
Yes.
So I bring esports coach on the whole 9 yards. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And no, yeah, I'm trying to make it to every school team group that I possibly can.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We will definitely be looking out for that. I will put information below so that people can definitely check out your website and your YouTube and all those different things. And I just am so excited for what's going to happen as you continue to do this. So, my final this or that is actually a this, that, or that.
Okay.
And it may be kind of silly but I just know from my own interwebs searching that this is like a thing, right? So, Nintendo 64 or Sega Saturn, or PlayStation 1.
Oh, Nintendo 64.
Thank you. I'm so
No.
glad you said I figured you would say that, but I was, like, not sure, I wasn't positive, but, like, I think it's pretty well known that Nintendo 64 is the best console.
It's a pretty easy one. I mean, when it comes down to it, no other system gave you four-player action right away. They
Yes.
also did a great job at developing software that supported that type of thing. So that's how you get all these wrestling games today.
Yep.
Probably very much are influenced to some degree by WCW versus NWO, which
Yes.
was like, hey, you're going to have a real tag team match between you and three of your other friends, and
Yes.
that it'll be, it won't be a little hidden thing that you can kind of participate in if you
Right.
get the extra controllers to make it work. But no, the Nintendo 64 in a lot of ways definitely was a far superior. I think the Sony PlayStation was a culturally forward
Mm,
moving kind of thing. And
mm,
a lot of people get that confused with being the best system, and that doesn't
yes.
necessarily equate.
That's a good point, I didn't think about that. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like how you said that. Kevin, thank you so, so much for speaking with me today. I can't wait for everyone to see this, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you so much.
Thanks.